Hey, I'm Annabelle. I'm a huge nerd, and I started my business Modular Realms making magnetic double-sided dungeon tiles.
Ooh, and I'm Kate. I discovered poi when I was in a circus. I loved how it felt, and I did my PhD studying its effects on health. And now I run a company, Spin Poi, that works with poi as a therapeutic tool.
So how did you get into poi?
I saw someone in the circus that I was in doing poi. It wasn't part of the circus. He just knew how to do it. And it didn't really interest me at first. It looked kind of boring. I was doing all this like high flying, flying stuff, living on the edge. And I was like, oh, that's just spinning the thing around like meh. But I just slowly became intrigued, and I also had an injury. I tore my rotator cuff at some point.
Oh God, that sucks.
Yeah, so I did become curious about it, and I was limited by my injury and what I could do. And so I just gave it a try, and like the second that I started spinning it around, I was like, this feels so awesome. Like I didn't know anything about it. Just felt really like meditative but engaging and relaxing, and yeah, that's how I first learned about poi. What prompted you to think about making these tiles?
So when I came to New Zealand, I moved here to do my PhD. I was making antibiotics for tuberculosis. I'm a chemist, or was a chemist. And I was like, into New Zealand, no one knows me. I can sort of find my own, like if I'm going to make friends, I might as well make nerdy friends.
Totally.
So I joined some D&D clubs. I'm the dungeon master, so I'm the person that builds the story, narrates the world, and sort of facilitates the game. And I just started making stuff on my own. And then the thing that really catalyzed me to go from student to doing this, I was in a car crash and whacked my head, and I had a brain injury. I had to take some time off from my PhD, and while I was doing it, I couldn't read, I couldn't watch TV, it was so boring.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I could do was make things with my hands. It was like the spatial part of my brain wasn't affected so much. I just started creating things and putting my, like, everything I had into it because it was the thing I could do.
Yeah.
And it just sort of kept growing from there. And then when the business was actually becoming a business, I thought, do I want to go back to my PhD? I found something that was really very special to me, and I just decided I wanted to keep pulling on that thread.
I don't know, that's just such a strong example of when something just creates this unexpected space in your life.
Yes. It's weird because the brain injury was awful in very many ways, and it's left me with lasting, I guess you'd call them disabilities, things that I can no longer do, or limits that are on my life. But I still think in a way the brain injury was one of the best things that ever happened to me. It really set me on a path of adventure and discovery, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Yeah,
I mean, I never intended to start a business either. I think it sort of happened similar to you. I did my PhD. I knew I wanted to do it on poi because I knew that poi could help a lot of people. And that's like as far as my thinking went. So I just, upped my life and moved to New Zealand because poi started here.
Makes sense.
Did that research, and I had absolutely no plan afterwards. And I basically didn't start a business until it was like hitting me over the head that I was already running a business. Like I didn't think of it that way at all. I was just finishing my research, and then I thought, okay, how would this work with seniors, like in an aged care facility? I'll just go there. I didn't know anything about market research. I was just following what I thought made sense.
Yes.
It's like, I'll just go there and try it and see what would people need to support them in doing this. And then I was getting asked to give workshops. It's like, okay, I'll just go there and, see what resonates with people. And then it wasn't until I entered one of those entrepreneurial competitions at the University of Auckland, and I had to have a company in order to accept the prize money.
Oh!
And that's the only reason I incorporated.
Nice.
And that was one of the best things that I ever did, obviously, because it was the beginning of taking this seriously as a business, separating myself a little bit from it. And yeah, it just kind of shifted my thinking from academic to entrepreneur, and I had to consider all those questions about, my relationship to money and all the things. So
All the things.